Hey guys, MaxLPQueen here, and welcome back to some more Planet Zoo. So we are here in the Maple Leaf Wildlife Park, and this is going to be the last part because, as you can see, I actually completed the park. Finally, it took me forever to get a yearly profit of 10,000 because I think last episode our funds were dwindling, and off screen I tried to fix it, and I ended up going into debt, and I had to restart the zoo. So this was our second attempt at the zoo, and it still is, well, we have more money at least. We're up and down between um, whether we are making money and not making money. So what I decided to do was some things that I had saw online. I decided to do some enrichment things for our animals because the zoo gets more money and more donations if the animals are entertained and the guests enjoy them. And so I did that. And I've also got vet research going on for different things is what I did. That's how I got my enrichments. And some other videos had suggested that I go through and, what was it? I go through and I do some enrichment stuff for some research for the mechanics to make the staff facilities bigger, because they said that your staff will be better equipped at feeding your animals and you'll get bigger staff rooms to help out with all that stuff if you're able to have better staff rooms. And you can only do that by getting enrichment, which is what everything is really about right now, is getting enrichment for all your stuff, because it can't work unless you have unless you're able to have enrichment on it, then it won't work, you know? And so I decided that it would be best to start doing enrichment items because I thought that would help us out a bit more, and it would make the guests happy, it would make the animals happy, and we would just get more money overall. And then the staff would be happier if we did more enrichment on their workshop places, and they would do better at their job and stuff. So it's just a lot of different things that go into this game, trying to go through career mode, and I only assume it's going to get harder and harder as we go along. But I did complete it. I did get finished. We ended up, as you saw, I don't know if I can look at it or not, but we ended the zoo with a total profit, and they had that little thing that came up and popped up. So I'm not really caring about the zoo anymore because we did complete it. We're finished. All the animals are getting old, of course, so they're dying of old age. They're not dying of disease or nothing. They're just dying of old age. And we only have a few vets around anyway. So I thought, since Bernie came in at the end of this tutorial thing and talked to me, I heard what he said, but then I didn't get to catch it in time so that I could show you guys. So I found a video online of somebody who had played through the Maple Leaf Wildlife Park and had Bernie talking and allowed him to finish up. So I thought we would go ahead and listen to see what he has to say at the end of this zoo that since we've completed it. So let's go ahead and see what he says here.
When I tasked you with building a zoo, I gave you some pretty ambitious targets to hit. But wouldn't you know it, you hit them all anyway. I think it's high time we dropped that apprentice from your title, huh? And to be candid, I'm particularly glad you hit the profit target, as I paid way over the odds for the land. Frankly, the amount I spent per square foot, you'd think I'd bought a penthouse apartment with solid gold toilets. It was worth it, though. Anything to stop the land going to that dreadful hedge fund. Apparently, they wanted to parcel it up and sell it off to various mining and energy consortiums. They're the sort of people who'd squeeze the oil out of the Mona Lisa if they could.
Okay, so there was the video that I found on what Bernie said. So that's exactly what he said at the end of the tutorial. So we finished up the Maple Leaf Wildlife Park Zoo. I'm so glad we actually finally got finished with it. It was kind of getting annoying there at a little point in time when I was like, really? are people really going to complain that there's a staff room right here and that they can see it? So I moved the staff room over here as well, because I didn't want people to have to see it, because apparently they don't like that either, and they won't pay for coming into your zoo, and they won't be having a good time unless that happens. But I learned a lot while doing this. I learned that you need to have enrichment. You need to go very slowly, and you don't have to go right away with getting some, and my barrier just broke because my mechanic isn't doing his job. So the animal escaped, which is great. But you know what? Who cares anymore? The zoo is done. We're done with the zoo. Snow leopard doesn't look like it's even trying to go anywhere anyway. It's just breaking the barriers. He's just trying to get out and have some free land, some free areas to run around in. You know what? I think you deserve it by now, snow leopard. You can run and do whatever you want. Because this isn't even going to matter anyway, because I'm not even going to save it. I already saved right after I completed it. So, goodbye everyone. Please run out of my zoo. Thank you for coming and helping me complete this one. But like I said, yeah, it took a while, okay, to get to where I was. And when I was going through and trying to get some help on all this stuff, I realized that you have to go really slow. And I didn't do that at first. I just went right in. I put like 2 or 3 exhibits in at a time, and I shouldn't have done that. And then I went ahead and made a whole bunch of drink areas and food areas and like shops and things that weren't even selling anything. No one was buying anything from them. It just ended up becoming really cumbersome and annoying. So I ended up losing money. I ended up going into debt, and I ended up not being able to complete this world. So I had to restart it. And I actually did restart it again. You know what? I can show you guys this. I did a Maple Leaf Wildlife Park redo, because after the last episode, I said that I was going to go back and see if we can get our profits up to 10,000. I think when we left off, they were around 2,000. Well, they went down to the negative 3,000 and so on and so forth. And I couldn't complete it. So I thought, you know what? I'll save this here. I'll leave it for later. But I will restart the zoo, and I'll just start it super small and see if that works out. And so far, it's worked amazingly. I did so much more stuff to kind of help out that this zoo right here would be great. But I didn't have to do that. I thought I was going to have to go through, and I've been playing this off screen just to kind of play through the day. Just to kind of see if the other park didn't work out and we didn't ever complete the goal, I would have this one as a backup that I was working really hard at after I learned everything from watching videos and reading and stuff about the game. Because you have to really do a lot of reading in this game, and you have to really understand a lot about it. It's a lot more complicated than you think. It's not like the other Zoo Tycoon games where you could just go in and place a ton of exhibits and have tons of guests, and you didn't have to worry about whether they thought something was good or bad. They were going to come in anyway and give you money, and you could raise your prices as much as you wanted and do whatever you wanted. No, this is way, way worse. It's a lot harder. I'm not saying it can't be done and played, but it's a lot harder, and there's a lot more that goes into it. So you have to kind of think about it a lot. So I did some paths up here because I realized that the guests weren't having a very good view of the animals. And some of the videos I watched as well, they took the path and put it inside the enclosure and kind of made the enclosure around the animals so they could see around into the exhibit, which I think I might do a little bit later on as well, and use some of those blueprints for some of my zoos. But this is it. This is going to be it for the Maple Leaf Wildlife Park zoo. Because we've actually completed it. We finally got the 3 stars that we needed to get done with the zoo. Super happy that I finally managed to do it. Because now we have all 3 stars for every one of the zoos so far. And we can go on to the Great Caldera Safari Park, which is the next one that we'll be doing in the next episode. I wanted to make this one kind of short, mostly because I wanted to make sure that the end of the Maple Leaf Park Zoo was going to be complete for you guys, because I didn't want to just leave it off last episode with me saying I'm going to do this off screen And then on screen, you can see me complete it. It just completed by itself off screen, and I wasn't able to get in here and record it real quick. Bernie was talking, and you didn't get to see exactly what I did, because mostly I was just placing buildings, getting more animals, doing enrichment and research, and it just happened on its own. Our profits went up, and we went through 10,000, and it actually ended up working out great. So I wish there was a way that I could just record while I'm not recording, you know what I mean? Kind of like a stream format, where just stream the game and then you're able to see what I do off screen. But unfortunately, I don't really have any way to do that, because a lot of people will do that, and they will, they'll actually, well, they'll stream it, but then they'll be able to record over it with some audio and stuff, and they can just super speed it and make sure that everything you can see being done real quick, so that it's real fast. Like when, say I'm playing Pokemon and I do a grinding montage. Those are usually sped up, because you don't want to see me grinding for hours. So yeah, it's kind of like that. But I don't have the ability to be able to do that currently, so I have to do everything pretty much off screen. And whatever you see on screen is basically what happens on screen. So, you know, it's complicated. Either way, I think that's going to do it for the Maple Leaf Wildlife Park, but next episode we're going to go to the Great Caldera Safari Park, and hopefully we won't have too much trouble. Maybe Nancy will come back. You know what? I never realized how much I missed Nancy until we got into the Maple Leaf Wildlife Park, but she may be leaving us for good now. We're so far ahead in the career mode, we might not even need her anymore. But that's going to do it for me, so I will see you guys in the next episode of some more Planet Zoo.